Hey everyone, welcome to Was That in Good Taste, your podcast for bringing it to you live, where we're asking if things are tasting or they're good. I'm your host, Chandler Phillips, and with me as always,
James Beery. No, not James Beery. Whoa.
what does that intro song kind of conjure in your mind? Because I have a pretty vivid idea of like what's going on.
You know what it sounds like?
Yeah.
It sounds like GoldenEye era N64 game 007 because it just sounds like you're like Doom.
Oh, like you're sneaking around and just
No. It's like a 2D shooter.
Yeah.
Or a Castlevania.
Yeah. And it's like a roll or not a roll, like
It's like a platform, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's spooky.
yeah.
You know, and it's
There's-
like bats
there's-
and
Oh.
boss battle.
Yep, this is boss battle. Almost no, not Final Fantasy. What
Oh, no, but it could be.
it could be a little bit with that. Little bit.
I think these seltzers are working pretty good.
For me, I'm picturing that's you know the Fox NFL football robot?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That's what he danced to for his audition tape to get that
What's
job.
this at the end?
Ooh, some wind chimes.
There was some chimes.
Ooh, that's fun.
But this is was that a good taste? Don't like, comment, and subscribe. These
That's a
have
good
gotten
idea.
us, I think, a little bit.
These are pretty
Having
fun.
a few of these.
What are they and why are we drinking them, James?
Oh yeah, there's a tasting table that's gonna come out at some point before or after this. And you should look, just watch
You can
that.
check that out. It's got all the deets. We got two different.
Yeah, we're not drunk. This is a lightly carbonated, hemp infused THC beverages that have 5 milligrams of THC in them. I think we supplemented these with some other methods. I think that
Well, they're great mixers.
Yeah. We mix this with a bong or a fucking spliff,
A water pipe
a water pipe
for tobacco
for
use only.
tobacco use only.
These are pretty interesting. We got, and I'm kind of proud of how I thematically worked them into our episode.
I don't even know how yet, really. I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No, get it. Give it to me.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about parody media. Music, television, movies, things that are artistic in their own right, but they parody other artistic works. And we're going to really hammer down on where the fine line between mocking artistry and appreciating artistry and then appropriating. Like where are each of those delineations to where
I'm real interested in this. You got me titillated.
and so now you're probably
I'm
wondering.
elated.
He's
I'm titted.
He's titted and elated. So I brought Mock Tales, a parody, if you will, of a cocktail.
Is mocking something a parody?
Well, they are sharing the aesthetic. They are blurring the genre lines. And I think there is an inherent mocking element to parody.
Is there? That's interesting because I have never considered, because I feel like you're saying all of that, but it's missing that there's, I think, an intent in parody that you can't just like break down by what it is. Like making a song that's making fun of the song or using similar themes. No. It's more than that.
It's more than that.
I think it's about kind of the intent.
Intention is
Because the
everything.
intent is to be funny. The intent isn't really to mock the music. The intent is to evoke to kind of play off the feelings of the music that you know, or of the thing that you've seen, of the feeling that you've had, and they're manipulating that feeling, right? So like they do that with the McRib. The McRib is actually kind of a parody of a seasonal sandwich because it's hyper seasonal, but it's also, it doesn't have to be fucking seasonal. They can make it whenever they fucking want. They can afford
seasonal. Wait,
because it only comes out like every few years, right?
The Halley's Comet of
they limit
seasonal
it.
sandwiches.
You know, is it going away forever? It's the last time the McRib. You know, they push it as a like seasonal thing, as something very special, and such. It's become a parody of a seasonal sandwich because. Ready for this?
Okay.
I think that McDonald's knows this. They know it's absurd, which is why they did like an advertising campaign where it's the last time, but then they were like, it's not the last time, and then they did it again.
It's the last time until the next time.
Because they know that, and it's kind of mocking the concept, but the intentionality is to be funny.
The intentionality is to sell sandwiches.
Oh yeah. I'm applying feelings to
it's marketing
to big corporate McDonald's hat. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I think part of what makes good parody is there's not just the intentionality to manipulate the thoughts and feelings of it, but to be referential to the source material, to have a satirical approach to the source material. And in that satirical approach, there is an element of, mocking, but there's a certain amount of,
we're using the wrong word.
It's not belittling.
I'm reading the definition.
Okay.
Exaggeration.
That's
the word.
And is the mocking in exaggeration?
Well, no, it's an imitation or style of a particular writer or genre with deliberate exaggeration for comedic effect. So, the exaggeration is the parody. And it's just kind of the way that we make media that adds stuff to it. Because, like, I don't know, if you make a song exaggerating where you're like Michael Jackson, but you're really a zombie, and it's kind of the same song, but the video was kind of silly, that's parody. But you can do the same thing, but the whole song would be about like take away women's rights. That's also parody, but it's not funny. You know,
right?
Like,
it's not funny to us because,
but that's mocking, and I think that we,
but it's still parody if your sense of humor just happens to, you just
want to make fun of people.
Not people, concepts.
I want to make. Who don't you consider to be people? Concepts, actually.
I want to make fun of formats, and that's what I appreciate about parody is its ability to to identify certain reoccurring tropes across a genre and then emulate it. And I think that's what makes some of the best parody is the ability to kind of synthesize tropes.
So what is some of the best parody?
I think you kind of go back to like the old school movie parodies of like Airplane. Spaceballs, a great one. History of the World.
I was just thinking about that because here's the thing about History of the World. What is it a parody of?
So that's what I wanted to get into with certain degrees of parody.
Yeah.
Because then it's honestly kind of how you can look at movies that in an initial glance, they seem like they would fall into the same genre of parody. So I'm going to hit you with Scary Movie, um, what was it? A Haunted House, and The Blackening. 3 movies that have to do with Black experience in the horror trope. However, Scary Movie is much more like Airplane or History of the World in that it'll take specific scene references from other movies and just kind of twist them. Like it'll take things that like are almost shot for shot,
like her
like tropes
in the house with Ghostface.
Yeah.
And he's like calling the phone and she's scared. But like in the original, she's like, ah. But then this one, like, you know, just calling, it's like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then it just like devolves into like.
And so the humor, I guess, comes from the juxtaposition of what you expect to happen with the general horror genre and then something absurd or just extra referential to undercut the horror of it.
Huh.
But there's such a strong reliance on putting on building the audience's expectation because your parody has to rely on reenactment for a good amount of it. And so that's kind of the parody genre that Scary Movie falls into. And it opened up that parody genre for superhero movie and for like all those other
so the worst
movie
films ever.
Yes.
That we all thought were associated, but apparently
because
are not.
They are not, but genre wise, they are standing on the shoulders of giants, and they themselves are awful.
Except for Scary Movie 1 and 2.
Well, because those are the giants whose shoulders they are standing on.
100%. Yeah.
Because you have movies that are like Hot Shots
Ooh.
or Naked Gun. Even Naked Gun, I would say, is a little bit more in its own element of parody because it develops its own narrative, even though it follows that. But like even Austin Powers is a parody series that parodies the 007 series.
But parody movies are like dead. I just realized that.
Yeah.
You only really get parody. I mean, you get parody in many other forms, but not movies. Music.
Yeah. But like that, so I'm gonna continue the.
Ooh, I love this.
So you see the kind of transition of how parody dies, to where you went from we're doing shot for shot remakes. Now we're doing a haunted house, which it's just Paranormal Activity. But what if they were black? And so it's just taking that concept and substituting something else in order to subvert.
But you need the exaggeration.
But you need the exaggeration because it's not just,
because they can't just be black. They got to be like job sucker, because that makes it funny.
They got.
Oh, that's what they think makes funny.
Yeah, that's what they think makes funny, and so that kind of falls into a little bit more of the like Dale and Tucker versus Evil kind of trope.
Oh yeah.
Where I really like that parody, but that's a parody of the horror movie genre because it goes, okay, we're doing Spooky Cabin in the Woods, but make them innocent. And then that's the thing. And so it's like you have the genre and then you just tweak a little something and it goes from there. What we've kind of moved into now with parody is it's much more meta expanded to where we're not making fun of the horror movie scenes or the horror movie tropes so much as we're making fun of the horror movie industry.
I mean, that's what people like about wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling in a way, like WWE is a parody of itself. It's a show about a wrestling show.
It's a show about a show.
In which the people in the show do exaggerated versions of the things that they often do in real life. Their real life personalities are often attached to their extremely exaggerated, not real personalities, but they somehow magically are associated with their person. It's like we do everything now in a meta way.
It's got to be meta.
That's a huge way I think that our culture, like, not right now, and that focuses and like makes it happen, which is it's not just making fun of something or exaggerating something, but it's exaggerating the exaggeration or commenting on the exaggerating of the original thing.
It's like, why are we picking these things to
You know,
exaggerate?
like you say, it's like it's not just the thing, but like you're mocking. You also have to mock. It's really you're parodying the system.
You
don't just parody
mocking
the movie.
thing.
You don't just parody the scene in which she's there. You parody the fact that that happened on a Tuesday and it leaked to like on the things that they had like an argument. So you parody that in it. You know, like it's like,
or you parody, like she slipped and fall. So you wouldn't necessarily parody the slipping and falling and try to make something funny in that. You would parody like she would keep running, and then you would zoom out, and then the people would be like, cut. Okay, we're gonna take it from the top. And then it'd be like, well, sorry, my ankle was supposed to break or something. Or like it would,
something.
But in that category, you have movies that are like The Blackening, or A Cabin in the Woods, where it's like you're not just making fun of the trope, but you're making fun of the way in which those tropes even came about.
I mean, I think that's interesting because like the Truman Show does the same kind of thing, where the Truman Show completely puts him in a world that's like a parody of a certain type of reality television that was like very popular at a certain time, you know, and then they just deconstruct it. They just deconstruct the parody.
It's a parody and exaggeration of what the reality TV show viewing habits, or actually, did Truman Show come out before the major like reality TV boom?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, but it was a different type though. Because
it's different because the one you're thinking about happened after the writer's strike last time.
I'm thinking of like the kind of like the real Housewives, the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. That was like when the
Keeping
last
Up with
writer's
Kardashians.
house.
So now, I think what we see more of like the direct parody stuff is a lot of it's coming out of the camp of comedians that like did the Upright Citizens Brigade, like the Nick Kroll, like
UCB.
the people who did like The League and Party Down and Wet Hot American Summer. Like that cast of people do a lot of parody stuff. I think one of the major ones that we would know of would be like Children's Hospital.
Oh yeah.
Children's Hospital is a parody of like Grey's Anatomy, Scrubs, House. Like it's and that one kind of takes that entire genre trope and synthesizes it into a 15-minute like, let's make this as ridiculous as possible. Or we have,
but is it even? That's the thing. I always wonder, is that even because sometimes it goes so over the top, and the exaggeration is so much that it's almost a whole new genre of thing.
But anytime you think Children's Hospital goes over the top, go back and watch the original source materials of what they're parodying.
Love ER, and that shit is ridiculous.
So
you're right. It's not that much.
Like because if something goes on long enough, it'll start to become an exaggeration of itself in terms of like television.
They call it flanderization.
Yeah. Describe to maybe some of the people at home who might not be fully familiar with the flanderization.
Well,
meaning.
it's a concept based around the character Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, right? And it's just that, you know, originally he's like a character. He's like a wife and 2 kids, and he's left-handed. He loved Jesus, and he had kind of a character, and he was an important part. But over the years, you know, he just became less of Ned Flanders and more just of a Flanders. He just became more of a caricature
of what the original,
you know, just like almost a parody of what he was before, because he was a yokely-dokely neighbor, but also sometimes they would give him a little bit of jealousy, you know, a little bit they would do things with him.
Yeah.
But now he exists to just yokely-dokely, you know, say something, it's like Ray Family Guy. It's like it's about
Yeah.
a joke and a punchline, and he's the joke, and he's the punchline, and I don't know.
It kind of just it becomes a tool rather than a character.
It happens. They don't call it Homerization because I don't think it sounds as well good, but like Homer. Jay Simpson obviously is silly, and obviously the Simpsons are like a commentary on like the nuclear family. But like if you look at Homer from like 1990 versus now, Homer is all the jokes in the show are like referencing jokes that they created or social things that they've created. It's just fucking it's so self-referential without even meaning to be. That is not even real anymore. Like Homer's not a fucking character. Homer is a character that you see drawn, who's put in The Simpsons, and you never can, you can never, with your mind, pretend. You know what I mean? There's no disbelief that you can suspend, even emotionally, when you're watching The Simpsons, because the characters are not the characters. Bart Simpson is not like a kid who's kind of problematic, but like he's like kind of also a good kid. He's just like fun with his friend Milhouse. You know what I mean? He's a catchphrase and only used to forward a story when it's needed, but not a character. Right? He's a complete exaggeration of himself.
He's kind of been stripped away of
flanderized.
What any previous internal motivators.
Yeah,
or those are exaggerated.
Yeah, they just become, it's like, if they ever reference something that happened on a season 12 and it's season 35 or some shit, if they ever do, it'll be an exaggerated thing of that, And you would think like, well, the Venus de Milo gummy, that was crazy. And it's like, yeah, like Homer being obsessed with like a gummy shaped like the Venus de Milo is absurd. Okay, but like, I don't know, he doesn't twist himself into a pretzel while he's trying to get it. He just wants, it's like, it's a gummy and it gets stuck on the thing and he wants it because he's like fucking weird. They don't like turn it into like he has to climb the Empire State Building and then scrape the Venus de Milo off like Tom Cruise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this shit is like so fucking a parody of itself. That flanderization is just really just pure exaggeration. That it's like a whole new form of parody. Where you go on so long, you start making fun of yourself.
But would you call it parody, or would you just call it the natural entropy of writing for
It's crabbing?
Oh, it's crabbing.
Everything just turns into that.
Eventually, all things will evolve into crab.
Yeah, everything turns into parody.
If
it's successful enough, you either have to kill it, right? Or like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, you get to the end and like the last season was like fine. It wasn't like the worst thing that ever exists, but I guess it wasn't as good as the best season that ever existed, so people were mad at it, right? But it just went on a little too long. So by the end, it's like everything's serious. But if it goes on just a little too long, then it's like fucking comedy. Because you gotta do something with the characters, then you just start doing shit. Right?
You gotta keep it spicy.
And then it just becomes fucking wacky.
I think a lot of the parody that we see that's being churned out now in like mainstream media isn't by like people making parody media. It's by people like our media has become so self-referential that like any given TV show is going to have an episode that parodies an I Love Lucy episode.
I mean, every TV show is going to have an episode that parodies an episode about being trapped somewhere.
It's a bottleneck.
It's a fucking
like at what point does a trope, or at what point does something go from being a direct parody to a trope?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Is it even parody anymore? If you have a show and you're like, okay, it's time to do the bottle episode. What the fuck was I watching? Whoa, I was watching Futurama. And the new season of Futurama, spoilers, sweetie, there's like 1 second where like they're like gonna sit down and they're gonna like watch TV, well, pardon me. And then it's like a fucking, it's like it's like interdimensional cable from Rick and Morty, just a little bit for like a second, and it's just like, yeah, this is what it is now, right? You know, like if you're gonna have a cartoon show, you're gonna have
You're gonna have an episode where they're just
it's easy. It's about you set them there, and then you can just do things.
Well, and Futurama's been canceled so many times that they've done parody episodes of their own return episodes. Like
More than once.
More than they have had episodes where they're like, "Hey, remember the last time we were canceled?" Like that, which I don't know if that's parody or just being self-referential.
What are some other like famous parody things?
So one of my other favorites is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Rachel Bloom's show that was on CW, and I believe now it's on Netflix. A lot of the music in it's in a very musical theater, or like it's a musical, but it's a musical comedy TV show, and a good amount of the numbers are original pieces, but there's also a handful that are parody pieces. There was pretty sure they did a Trapped in the Closet one, which classic.
And look under the counter. He was a little person. Like he really just had a whole fucking scene.
He had a whole.
And there's like there was a little person in a fucking cabinet. Jesus.
Trapped in the Closet is probably one of the best
Talk about fucking parody.
One of the best things to parody. It keeps going,
but also it is parody,
and you can never out ridiculous what happens in Trapped in the Closet.
We're about to glaze up our Robert Kelly, the pedophile, for a second, because I'm just saying that he didn't do it himself. Probably it was probably somebody who's not a pedophile, whose work and labor he stole and exploited to come up with the idea. But Trapped in a Closet is a fucking hilariously obvious fucking parody of like lots of types of black media. Like it's
oh yeah.
As it continues, like the pastor is cheating on his wife with another man.
That's the first 5 episodes.
I know, right?
As it continues, that's just how it starts.
They get like AIDS, but also it's of course homophobic and all that stuff, and you know all those things, of course, you know. But like as a fucking parody of a genre or genres,
it kind of did it parody the culture?
Man, that shit's crazy. It's crazy, you know. It really, really just kind of like did.
Here's a question I have.
This
for
works.
Kind of.
If anybody, are you
feeling a higher vibes?
I've had 10 milligrams
of
THC, and woo.
I got a question for you.
Got an answer for you.
Growing up in Brooklyn, are Beastie Boys considered legitimate hip hop or parody hip hop?
I mean, and music people, that's different. I don't think nobody. I'm not gonna lie. At a party, you might hear something. People are not fucking walking around. I live in Biggie Smalls' neighborhood. You think there are fucking people around here are like dead? Literally, people walk around here playing Biggie. They literally are not walking around playing Beastie Boys. Occasionally,
I mean, you'll hear a Beastie Boys,
but like people are not like thinking about the Beastie Boys enough to even. I'm sorry.
Wait, they're not.
No,
like the Beastie Boys were.
They're not thinking about them enough.
We're kind of big.
No, they're not.
I mean, they were kind of. They were.
They're thinking about them enough that if they play the song, they're like, no, see it to Brooklyn. They don't think about the song. You know.
So I've
never heard some dude be at a party be like, yo, this is corny. Never.
Okay, that's I have. I've had people tell me that Beastie Boys are corny.
Who said that? Who said that?
Just some teammates, and when I was in youth sports. I was enjoying some stuff.
Who's talking about the Beastie Boys? They're fine.
Beastie Boys,
they're like okay.
They were telling me Beastie Boys was corny, and I was like, "Well, shit, I'm corny, and I like the Beastie Boys, so like, I guess that checks out."
I thought the Beastie Boys were just accepted as like being like kind of cool, like
I thought so too, and so this is why I'm so distraught by this.
This whole episode is like just a frame. Like, is Beastie Boys parody?
Is it parody? And if it is parody, and it's corny, is it corny enough to be? Because I don't think it's parody because it was
It's not exaggerating hip hop.
No, it's actually kind of defining certain elements.
It's just, oh God, you just love white people who rap.
Hey, they're also Jewish.
I think that one of the things is that it's fun.
Mhm.
It incorporates some of the like their punk, hard rock,
Yeah.
like influences. So it's something kind of original. It's not doing an exaggeration of it. It's not mocking it. Unlike some other songs that I think are actually low key kind of racist, that I didn't realize I think are racist kind of till today.
Like which ones?
Why is my Alexa speaking?
I don't know.
I love it.
Did you ask her something?
Alexa, stop.
Thank
There
you.
we go. No, there we go. I love that. Fuck it.
So, what songs do you think? What parody songs do you think are not in good taste?
All right. So we were talking about Gangsta's Paradise earlier.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've looked, but not with my third eye, brother. Weird Al with the twist.
Okay, with the twist.
That's so fucked up. Yo, that's not even parody. That's low. Why they gotta do Coolio like that? Yo, deadass, they did Coolio like that so hard that he actually made his hair like that.
He already had his hair like that.
No,
That's
it's
why
worse.
he did the twist.
No.
That's how it looked on his out.
You telling me that Weird Al making his hair look like that, making that like pose, and then singing this song about the Amish people, which I used to think was funny, but now also I know a lot more about the Amish. You know, and I don't know. I just feel like, and then if you listen, because we just listened to it, I was like, huh, Gangsta's Paradise is like, I don't know. I feel like he's trying to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And like some like white dude is like,
So there was beef. There was beef, but
what's the beef? What's the beef? What are the people?
the beef has since been squashed.
But what? Okay.
What was the beef?
What was the beef between Weird Al Yankovic and the late great Coolio?
Coolio felt disrespected by Weird Al's parody.
How so?
He felt like he was trying to say something with the song that he had made for a movie with Michelle Pfeiffer in it. That's why she's in the music video. And he felt like the parody of it diminished the what he was trying to say with the song.
I agree. I agree solely because in my entire life, I have never listened to Gangsta's Paradise. Like, really. I've only ever heard it and thought about Amish Paradise. And I was listening to it earlier, and I was like, yo, this song is like, he's trying to say something.
You want to know what my counter is to that?
Ooh, I love that.
I think Weird Al was trying to say something.
All right. What do you think Weird Al was trying to say?
I don't think he was saying it's as hard for the Amish as it is for disenfranchised communities of color. But I think he is just trying to say, hey, they got it pretty tough too.
You know, it's so funny.
They're a marginalized group. We don't know about what's going on the streets in the.
If you think about it, that song, I never really, is like just about how hard their life is. And you know,
And that's what Gangster's
it
Paradise is about.
super disrespectful, actually. It is, because I think that, like, you know, making fun of songs like Thriller, like Thriller, it's a bop, it's bumping, it's hopping,
Yeah.
it's cool in the streets, but like, you know, he didn't make a parody of They Don't Care About Us, you know, where Michael Jackson's like fucking in Africa, like singing they don't really care about us. You know, like Weird Al's not like fucking
Well, 'cause
doing that
he already
in like
made,
a fucking Taco Bell. You know what I mean?
because he already
They don't
made
really
two
care
Michael
about.
Jackson
Oh wait,
ones.
no, pizza. They don't really care about crust.
That would be funny though. Fuck, that would be good.
but the thing is that, like, wow, I never really thought about it like that before. Because like Coolio was trying to say something, and I'm not trying to be like mean to other artists who, yeah, they're fucking listening to this. I'm sorry, person who made a song who makes millions of dollars. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, you know, but I'm just saying that, like, some of these fucking songs, right? Some of these fucking songs aren't that deep. Okay, and so making a parody of them is not really an insult of no one, because the songs are meant to make you dance, to make you smile,
Mhm.
to make you laugh, right? You know, and some songs are meant to do that, but like about your mom dying. And this is like really weird to have like some random dude like take your song. And obviously he asked for permission and stuff or whatever, you know, but like what if your management's like, yeah, you know, Weird Al, you should let him parody your song. And you're like, all right, you know, like you don't ask which song, you know, and it's like the song that you made for your mother when she was like dying of cancer. You know what I mean? And like he turns it into a song about like building Legos
I think
in
that's
France.
but I think that's the universal equalizer of the silliness, like just sheer silliness of parody.
Is this so silly that like
It's
the
just-
original context?
It's like it's so silly. Its entire purpose of Weird Al's brand of silly specifically is to just be as silly as possible to make people go that's dumb. I think at that point it's you know, no kings, no gods, no masters, but dude's kind of got a divine touch.
What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer? I just listen, okay? I just feel like some of these fucking, I don't know, man. I just can't imagine just like so, you know, like this is one song by Adele that kills me. It's called "A Million Years Ago." I listen to that shit and I'm like, I'm like fucking sobbing and shit, right? And I'm just imagining if somebody just parodied that song, it would just like fuck me up. I feel like it would just like ruin it for me. I think that most parody just fucking sucks and it's like not fucking funny because it's already hard enough to do the thing originally, right?
Hmm.
As so much as it is to then take something that somebody else has done, especially not just the parody of genre, because that's like very common. And very
Genre
easy.
parodies a bit easier because
when
there's no direct mockery.
Yeah, and when you're parodying a work, then they had to be good, and then you also have to be good. Because if you're bad,
Because if you're bad, you're bad.
you're bad.
It's gotta be, so American Dad, Steve Smith's version of Trapped in the Closet.
Love it. Hot.
Is it because the source material itself is ridiculous, or it has an absurdity to it?
It's being elevated by American Dad,
Ooh, okay, hot take.
because I think that American Dad is so funny.
Mhm.
Some of the writers are so good, right?
Yeah.
That, like, you know, Jump the Closet's funny, but what they wrote is funnier.
But it's funny because we know that the level of escalation is supposed to go on a certain kind of exponential upwards absurdity. So I think, yeah, maybe Amish Paradise. Did it need
Who is that? Walk through the valley where harvest my grain. I look at my wife and realize she's really plain. Oh, that's just fine for Amish like me. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, I remember the first time I heard it. I remember the first time. I remember where the fuck I was. God.
Where were you
I was like,
when the boys built a louder
not that far from
heaven?
here. And I heard that shit. And I thought it was the hottest fucking thing I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, yo, this is deep. Because you listen to it.
Wait, you think Amish Paradise was deep?
Yeah, I was like, damn, the Amish have it kind of hard.
It do be kind of hard out there.
That's what it did. It like totally smushed his. But I don't know.
Did it smush though?
I don't know if it's really parody.
Gangster's Paradise is still Coolio's #1 song.
I mean,
like, we were talking about this. Coolio had 3 albums in 3 years, and 3 songs.
I know one song.
You know one song. I know 3 songs.
What's the other song?
See You When You Get There.
How's that go? I don't know.
I see you when you get there.
Don't know the song.
You know that's because it's got the bum 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 bum.
Phantom of the Opera is here inside your mind.
Exactly. See, you know it. And the third one is the opening song to Keenan and Kel. You know 3.
Damn, I know 2. I know
2.
Damn.
You know 2.
Oh my God. Fucking Coolio and the fucking.
I've seen faces and places and things in it everybody be seen. If you ain't think you must be drinking and smoking, pretending that you're loking but you're open. Let me get you open.
I feel bad. It's no disrespect or hate to Coolio.
See,
I just knew I watched Keenan and Kel, and the theme song had Coolio, and I was like,
who this guy?
okay. I mean, no, because I knew who Coolio was
at the and.
But I was just like, wow, okay, Coolio's
just here, just hanging. But with that said, I think maybe Weird Al might have elevated Coolio's career a little bit, maybe.
Yes. I mean, yes. How dare you speak ill of the dead? You might hurt his family's feelings.
I think good parody, silly, like innocent, silly parody, and also on the other side of the spectrum, thought-provoking critique parody, satire. Both ought to be protected as far as like freedom of speech type stuff, where like because a given like parody.
What were you trying to say? I'm sorry.
Because when it comes to parody copyright and covers and that kind of stuff,
I mean,
there are laws in place that protect parody.
Obviously,
rights.
Even if I think that like
transformative media,
it's important to allow people to do that. I think it's important culturally and socially, because if people were forced to only make new things, we wouldn't have good things.
Wouldn't have shit.
We wouldn't have nothing. All your favorite songs, hip hop, the history of sampling is long and storied.
Mm-hmm.
You like Wu-Tang, so you know about that.
I'm familiar.
As white people love Wu-Tang.
Which you can almost say that like certain elements of Wu-Tang parody, Marvel comics, the Kung Fu movie tropes.
Is MF Doom doing parody of Wu-Tang?
I don't think he's doing a parody of it. I think they share a lot of collaborators.
Yeah, they do.
I think
I'm
they
just
just
messing
kind of, I
around.
think
I'm
they
just
just
being
kind
an
of swim in
asshole.
the same genre
Yeah, they
pool.
definitely, you know.
But I would say that MF Doom does parody
He parodies comics.
comics. Yeah, Doctor Doom. That's his whole. That's his whole shtick. Is he's, or it's at least referential to it.
I'm thinking of a song now.
Oh, is it
Rhymes Like Dimes.
all caps? Oh, Rhymes Like Dimes is a good one. What's your favorite parody material, element, etc.? What do you go to when you want to hear a silly song?
You know, there's a weird type of parody in music that I don't know how to explain, where it's original works making fun of or mocking. Like when I was younger, oh god, there's like this one song that was like, "Dear Diary, mood, apathetic. My life is spiraling downwards." And it was like just like a stupid fucking song, and something about it was kind of just like parodying everything about the genre, everything about the people, you know. Was also making fun of them a little bit. And I'm be honest, but I'm kind of pushing against it because I think that parody that makes fun of people is kind of funny. And it's not nice to make fun of people's bad. Like if you're gonna parody something, parody Scream, a work that's good that people like.
But Scream itself is also like a comedy.
But it's also
horror.
oh god, you're fucking right, because Scream is directly a parody of a lot of things that came before it. Just like I know what you did last summer. I love how
I know what you did last summer.
because we know that a lot of these things. Oh god, whatever. Parody sucks. Give me new things only. I refuse to have anything be transformed into something that's an exaggerated version of the thing that was before. I don't know how to define parody, but I know it when I see it, and I don't like it.
If you're going to bring something back, make it exactly the same. Reboots only. Strict reboots.
But it's weird. You'd be very careful with reboots, because you can do like a Seinfeld reboot, right? If you pick different people to play them, like the day after they go into prison, they get like let out, but it's like different actors, but they're like, I don't know.
They're aged up.
No, not even.
Oh, then
the show's just like in the 90s, right? That's kind of a parody. If you did it and it was like the next day, but it's just like all the Julia Dreyfus, Jay Seinfeld, just as old as they are now, and it's just like not acknowledged. It's wild.
That'd be funny.
And it's funny.
And
then if the show just continued, then the show wouldn't be a parody.
You know, remember when Always Sunny did their parody of Seinfeld? Remember?
Stone.
It was they were doing a like a clip show episode, and then they were like, "Hey, remember when we did this?" And then they were like, "No, Charlie, that was an episode of Seinfeld."
Was that the one where they were in like the fucking apartment kind of?
Yeah,
and they did like a whole Seinfeld bit. They were like looking out the window.
That
shit is hilarious.
I love that kind of parody.
That was hilarious.
Or it's just like, wait, let's just do a quick reference. You know what show actually does a really good job of doing really stupid parodies?
What's that?
Teen Titans Go.
Teen
Titans Go and Amazing Gumball.
Don't listen to me when I say that I know that Teen Titans was amazing and it was very fun. It was a little adult. Teen Titans Go is better.
Silly.
Teen Titans Go is a better show. One, as a children's show, it's a better show. More educational, lots of little songs. You know what I mean? I think it's very easy to watch. The 15-minute episodes, thumbs up. But also, there's like deep stuff in there. And I love My Little Beast Boy Terror song. I love that song.
Oh, that one's so cute.
You know?
And they have all of the original Teen Titans lore to build off of, but Teen Titans Go is a parody of Teen Titans.
It is.
But it's such a...
But it's also, because it's just an exaggeration, but it's also a direct, like, continuation.
Yeah. But at the same time,
sweetie. Oh, no. I'm not allowed to do that. Sorry.
It's a parody of the tween demographic superhero show. because they also fuck with like Young Justice.
Oh,
and
100%, yeah.
They fuck with those tropes, or they make references to it, and they're like, whoa, 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 we're just the Teen Titans. Young Justice can go handle that, like that kind of stuff, where it's referential to that universe, but also the universe of making these shows. That's what I loved about Chowder too. Was that one was a show that would make. I like when cartoons get real meta for like no reason.
That's why people like Rick and Morty, because they parody going meta.
Yeah. But like, see, in a show, in an adult cartoon like Rick and Morty that goes meta, it's kind of got a little played out. In kids shows, one of my favorites, All Hail King Julian.
You love All Hail King
I
Julian.
love that show. Another one that'll do like episodic parodies.
Nobody making that show has assaulted or sexually like molested women or anything weird like that, all right? That you know of.
That I know of.
All right,
I mean, Mort's a little crazy. He's got a thing for feet, specifically King Julian's feet.
That's weird.
But that's just him. He's a weird little dude. That's his thing.
Madagascar? What the fuck is happening? Is it?
Yeah. Well, so
is it a TV show based off of Madagascar?
It's a TV show based off of the lemurs of Madagascar.
That feels like parody.
It is, but not for why you're thinking. Because it's not a parody, it's a spinoff. But the things that they do, the different episode, they had one episode where like they found a submarine that had washed up on the beach, and so a couple of them went out into the submarine, and then all of a sudden there were some things going bump in the submarine. And so then it turned into an Aliens parody.
I love that.
Where like crew members just start disappearing off the submarine, and then there's like they got.
And did they do it in a way where it was direct like a parody?
Oh yeah.
Or did they parody the fact that it's a parody?
A little bit of both, but of course they had the shot where like you have the one person who's got like their net gun or whatever, because they can't have like a real gun.
And it's like a shadowy.
Yeah, and then they're walking through like a corridor, and then the shot is like through the tubes.
Flickering lights, some flickering lights.
A little bit of drool drips down right behind them.
But it's green and a little.
Yeah, and so it's glowing, and then they're just like,
and they hear like a breathing maybe.
Yeah. And then it does the quick approach where it's just the head, and you're like, oh shit, and then cut to screaming, and then someone being like, whoa, what was that, dude? Making parody
at the end of the episode, easy. The alien's actually pretty cuddly.
Yeah,
and it's like curled up in like the arms. Yeah. Because the kids,
it's like, oh, it's a mongoose or something like that.
That's an alien, but it's cute.
Yeah. Or it's a cute alien.
It's never mentioned again, except for like 3 episodes later. It's like in the background.
Yeah,
on the couch. I'd be good. Hire me.
Oh, dude.
I'll save Cartoon Network.
R.I.P.
Wow, we're making it to the end. I love that. Let's hit it. I'm ready. Hit me with some parody. This is a parody of an episode.
This is us pretending to do an episode. The Lonely Island. Are they parody? Comedy?
What are they fucking... Because what the thing is, what would they be parodying?
So, if you've ever watched the movie Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
I have.
Each of their songs, I believe you could trace a link, or like each... Because it's basically like a visual album for The Lonely Island. I think
this reminds me of the Black Eyed Peas.
Each of the songs in that you can trace back to a Mesopotamian deity from there. No, just like a general artist, or at least a specific trope. Like they got Hunter the Hungry is played by Chris Redd in one of the scenes, or one of the characters, and he's got a whole thing where he's like, he's crazy, like, I'm gonna play pranks, and I'm gonna do all this crazy shit because like I'm wild, but I'm a kid.
I'm wild, I'm wacky.
Yeah, Tyler the Creator. He was just doing like mid 20 or like 2010 Tyler the Creator. That's all his character, and the songs too. Like the beats themselves are like a bwomp bwomp, bwomp bwomp, and then like He's just rapping over that with like a deep, raspy voice. That's Tyler the Creator. Maybe a little sprinkling of just the rest of the Odd Future guys, or I'm stomping through the force like a. Oh wait, oh no, he says something. Oh no,
I'm a freaking triceratops, pterodactyl, flying. I don't know.
yeah, the same idea, same shtick. There's another one where Connor's doing Andy Samberg's character Connor for real is doing a song about how everyone should be cool with gay marriage and gay marriage should be legalized. Also taking place after, even in the movie universe, gay marriage had been legal for a handful of years.
That's pretty funny.
But like the song he's doing is Macklemore. Like it's just a Macklemore pivot, and then it features,
or is he just white?
No, because like even the enunciation of certain things were like that's a Macklemore.
I think that you completely just miss, 100%. I think it's just natural.
What? That I just missed?
I think that they think this is good music. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna make a song about being on a boat. You think that the people on SNL don't know that they're comedians? And Laura Michaels is like, just I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm saying what's making it parody is there is a direct source material from which they are parodying.
Oh yeah, they are. I'm just being an asshole.
Not that just they are. Yes, I know that it's silly, and I know that they obviously put some effort into making something silly.
Oh, Michaels is like, please don't make any more. Don't make any more. I'm sorry. I feel like that kind of parody comedy music just went out. Like my favorite, I just feel like it's gone out of style. It's old. It's tacky. It's played out.
Is it corny?
It's corny. But then there was that one they did, the John Waters one. What was that one again? Dude, the Creep.
Oh. Dude, John Waters and who? Nicki Minaj.
Oh my God.
That's
why that one was so funny though.
That's what redeems their corniness is they get people to play along with them. And so it legitimizes the parody because not only are I would say the Lonely Island as a group is a parody of pop music.
I mean, aren't they just parodying? I don't think it's so much a parody of pop music as so much as what I think. Oh God, I'm about to get fucking weird. I think it's a little lazy only because they're like parodying loosely, right? They're not like a pirate parody group. They just some of the songs are parody and also some of them aren't. The song, some of those fucking songs are not like fucking parodies. They're just like, hey, what if I was walking down the street eating a sandwich and I was singing a song about it? That's not parody.
No, but the parody goes beyond just the lyrics, because then you could extrapolate it and be like, oh, they're doing like a techno DJ kind of shtick. They're parodying the popularity of EDM.
They're subverting your expectations.
They're subverting the expectation.
Okay, so where's the line where people use its parody?
I think it's to be condescendingly mocking. And sometimes it's necessary because I'll agree, a lot of parody is played out. Remember the Trump show that was on Comedy Central where I forget who was doing it was a regular show.
Were they just mocking? Weren't they mocking Trump?
They were
something?
Yeah, they were doing basically Trump doing reenactments of not
yeah,
Trump,
yeah,
but
yeah.
They had a dude who was like,
yeah, I remember seeing the ad for that.
Yeah. It's satire, so it's parodying, but it's kind of played out when you just have the same take. Is that Trump's an idiot?
Yeah,
that was the whole takeaway from.
Oh boy, he's an idiot. Yeah, no shit.
And so I think parody is still alive and well. Well, it's alive. in a lot of political satire because it's easy.
Oh, of course, it is easy.
Uh,
Oh, I'm Trump. Look at me, I'm dumb.
well, that's where I'd say like the Lonely
Oh, I'm
Island
Giuliani. Yeah,
are not doing easy parody. They're doing a little bit more because they actually have to do the legwork. Like they're not doing direct. Sometimes the direct copy is the easiest.
I'm being a parody of James. I'm just countering you for no reason.
I'm just parodying being dick. No.
I'm just gonna start saying that. I'm just gonna start doing. I'm being at work and like, actually, I'm just parodying being at work right now.
I'm
just parodying being at work right now.
Yeah, you do that though sometimes. Where like
do.
you'll get into work and you're like, oh, I'm in work character. Let me do a parody of my work character.
No,
hey, how are you?
Actually,
do you want a phone today?
Do that all the time. Hey there, how you doing? Happy Wednesday. People use the bathroom. I say, don't fall in.
Yep, it's just a bit.
Yeah. And then people go, huh? And I go, the last person they fell in, never got them back. And then they go, it's like, hey, we rent rods, lines, and hooks. So if your family want to rent, got you. Yeah, fish you out there. I'm not gonna leave you to drown.
You know what just popped into my brain nugget?
What's that?
Did you ever watch The Master of Disguise?
Turtle. I'm older than I fucking.
You've seen
Dana Carvey. I used to fucking watch Jiminy Glick.
Jiminy Glick?
Yeah. That's Dana Carvey in a fat suit interviewing famous people. It's between two ferns. It's fucking gross. I'm not gonna lie. It's like he's like in a fat suit, and it's not a nice one either.
Oof.
And he's like always crossing his legs in the chair, and it's just like so fucking stupid. And actually, that whole part is like offensive for like no reason. He's just like a fat person, but I just made him like a big, silly looking fat person, and then he was Ali G-ing people.
Oh.
And they would just like go to his show and they were like thinking it was a real show.
I like that's Ali G. Also a little Eric Andreing. Is the Eric Andre show a parody of, or is it so subversive that it's not even a parody anymore?
That shit's literally just like, it's weird. Because what makes I don't think a fucking parody is that it's not parodying. It's just its own thing. Because it plays like it's parodying talk shows, especially from the heyday of the late 90s, early 2000s, right? It plays like it's doing that, but he's just doing his own show, and it's just a variety talk show. The only thing that's different is that while he sits at the desk and the person sits there, stuff happens around them. Because even the late night people will ask silly questions, have silly interviews. So that's not even like subversive or weird. You and is it funny to like, I don't know, have people just falling from the ceiling? Is that funny? I don't know. Sometimes I laugh and I'm like, oh, I can't help myself. And I'm like laughing my ass off. And other times I'm just like, why would you do that?
Uh-huh.
And that just does not fucking seem funny. And I don't think it's parodying anything because it's not an exaggeration of late night talk shows or daytime talk shows, because those are already a fucking exaggeration of themselves, because they've been going on for so long that like they put them on like they're Carson, but it's like a man who goes out into LA and interrupts traffic for 15 minutes so that they can sing songs with the Foo Fighters. You know what I'm saying? It's like so fucking, like it's already so fucking wacky and so much of a parody of itself that like he's just making something like the other things.
So it's not so much a parody, but it does mock the format of a traditional late night talk show.
Oh, but I don't even think it mocks it enough for it to be mocking it, because he sits at a desk and has a guest.
But then he destroys it.
Oh boy. He doesn't even usually have two guests. He usually only has one. On talk shows, they always have two guests.
That's true.
They literally, that's like a whole thing.
Well, they also usually have like a whole hour.
Yeah, they come out, they do the monologue, right? Then they well, maybe have they don't perform anymore. The monologue is separate from. They might even do a segment at the
they do
desk.
the words, punchline.
Yeah, right. Then they have one guest. Then they have the second guest. During the first guest, they have the sidekick set out there. Second guest sits out. They switch. Then they play that. That's it. Like he doesn't do any of that shit. He sits at a desk, and it's not even like Between Two Ferns, which is obviously like a severe like crazy parody of like any kind of interview show.
Yeah.
But it's like fun because he actually tries to interview the people a little bit, just like fuck with them. Eric Andre doesn't even he
doesn't
like,
try to. But is that the
so
that's
tell
the
me what do you
subversion.
think about pizza? And then like or he'll ask him a real question and somebody's like running around naked. It's like what the fuck is happening?
It's like you were never here for the interview.
Even though I like all of that, I'm just being I'm parodying myself. There we go.
Are you parodying yourself, or are you?
I don't know. Leave me a fuck
Are
alone.
you-
I'm
are you
parodying
subverting.
I'm subverting expectations.
There you go.
I know. I saw you looking.
Love a
Hold
good
on, let me
subversion.
I'm gonna go over here to my soundboard.
He's subversive.
Wait, what's this? Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Is there though?
I'm trying to think if I had any more topics to talk about with parody, because we did our mock tales. We
I love
talked
that.
about what constitutes being parody. We talked about at what point does playing within a trope or playing off of someone's direct art. Do you think that parody and the exaggeration inherently has a mocking aspect?
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to. I think that's one of the things we talk about in comedy a lot, in which it feels like it's easy and it feels like that's how you make jokes. But you don't have to.
Can you do me a favor? You look up the definition of mockery?
Oh God, here we go.
Because I'm curious if it's limited to just a reenactment, or if it has the implied belittling.
Mockery. A teasing and contemptuous language or behavior directed at a particular person or thing. Contemptuous, of course, meaning showing contempt.
Ah, that's a key.
Scornful.
Scornful.
Yes. Meaning to scorn. Meaning to full.
Country of origin. Could you use it in a sentence? Scornful.
Jared is a
See, okay, yeah. Then in that case, I don't think it has to be implicitly teasing, but I do think that people do,
because playful teasing is not teasing.
playful teasing isn't teasing.
If they're in on it,
For playful teasing isn't teasing.
that's not teasing.
It can be. You little slut. What?
You're not even wearing your fucking choker today.
I'm not. We'll bring it back. It's for the hot days.
Oh,
I think I'm out of thoughts. I'm done.
that's it.
I'm out of thoughts.
That's it.
We're gonna end it there.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us. This has been Was That in Good Taste? We tried North, blueberry citrus,
And we tried
Jang,
Jang,
rhubarb, and cucumber spritzer.
which is really strawberry rhubarb. That's
If you-
so crazy.
That's why. If you want to learn more about the fun things that we were sipping on during this episode, remember to check out our tasting table episode about said high seltzers. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. James, where can they find you?
You can find me, of course, on Instagram at Art of Giving Up,
Ooh.
on Threads
Threads.
at Art of Giving Up.
What's Threads?
Threads is Instagram's what used to be Twitter. You can find me on that platform, but I'm not. I don't even want to.
Okay, word.
Oh, you also find us at wasithingoodtaste@gmail.com. reach out to us.
Yeah.
Comment on the things. It's super important. And
What's the best place to listen to this podcast?
actually,
Yeah.
I would be right now. I think you should do YouTube.
YouTube.
I
Check us
think
out
that
on YouTube.
would be the absolute best place.
Okay.
We're handsome.
Neat. You can find me at Chandler Does Jokes on Instagram. I think I'm gonna be hosting a comedy karaoke. We've been doing this a couple of times, and this will be the third attempt at doing this little open mic show. So, check out, I guess, my Instagram for details on that.
Chandler Does Jokes.
Chandler Does Jokes at the Instagrams. Other than that, I think that's going to do it from us. Drinking is not required.
But it is recommended.
Recommended.
Oh, wait. Clink.
Clink.
Wow. Oh, we used to do that a lot. I forgot.